Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. Start with the Mystical Shaman Oracle. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining. There's been kind of a big uptick in traffic in the last week or so, which is, it's kind of exciting. Like I've been talking about, I'm not really trying to start a tarot channel. I just love the tarot, and it's been really instrumental for me and just like helping me work through difficult moments in life. And for sure I've been having a difficult moment this year, as most people, I think, because this year's just been like crazy. But particularly in my case, because this family emergency that I've kind of had to like set my life aside for, so it's been really wild. And the tarot has been like really, instrumental, I think, in helping to like walk through all these moments. But also, like right now, we're in an eclipse season, so there's just this like profound healing that's like coming through right now, and it's really life-changing, I think. But it's like every day now I'm like getting up and I'm like, what's going to be in the cards today? Because like I feel like I've been having these just such profound insights that I'm like really excited about it. So anyways, I was talking about, like, I'm not really trying to be a tarot reader. I'm actually a vegan cheesemaker, and I'm on hiatus. I really love the tarot, and I get a lot out of it. So, but there's been like this huge uptick in traffic and on this channel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And since it's the holidays, and I'm really trying to go back to work, but it's not really going to happen until after the holidays. So I'm doing this special for the holidays, where I'm doing a reading special. So you can get like a reading from me in this format, like a video format, the way that I've been doing these readings. And it's $35. So you can get a love reading, a general reading, you can get like a career finance reading, like whatever focus you want, but it'll be in this format. And I'm only going to do a few of them because, like I said, I'm not really trying to be a tarot reader, but I think this is really fun, and especially right now, like, it's really been inspiring what's coming through. So, for the holidays, I'm doing this special. It's $35. It's a really good deal. There's a link down below if you're interested. So, okay. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Wild Woman. So, like, I think this is like sort of like woman sort of unleashed, and not like unhinged in like a crazy way, but like more like in her power, like in a state of flow, and like in synchronicity with the world, and able to like manifest things, and also to bring forward her like gift into the world without being sort of oppressed or restricted or held back, like fully able to manifest her gifts and to be abundant and in synchronicity with the world, which is like, everybody wants to be in that state, so I think that's really inspiring that this is the underlying energy at the bottom of the deck. And like I was saying, there's all this really beautiful healing that's coming through right now for eclipse season. Okay, so the other cards, we got the Rainbow, we got the Serpent, we got the Hunter, we got the Time Master, and we got the Sun. So, the way these like line up really go to support that Wild Woman energy. And it's just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a good reading. I can already tell. Okay, so the Rainbow, it's like you see this, and it's like all the colors of the rainbow, like your chakras. And it's like you've done all this work, and your chakras are like in alignment, and they're like, the universe or God or, you know, the spiritual realm, like all that power is like flowing through you and propelling you towards your destiny, you know. And I love how in this card it's a bird, you know, because I've talked about this before, but like, you know, I think my family emergency that's like led me even to like start doing all these tarot readings. My father passed away. My father was a pilot, so I feel like, you know, since he's like crossed over, like I still get messages from him through birds and through helicopters and plane, you know, like mechanical birds. And so this is like particularly meaningful for me because, you know, but this speaks to like having the sort of power of the universe behind you and propelling you towards your destiny, being in synchronicity, you know, your chakras in alignment and like being empowered. And like I like how it like lines up with all these, the planets and the moon, you know, like everything's lining up, you know. So this is a really good omen. And then the next card we get is the serpent. So this speaks to like sort of like unfurling of like kundalini energy. So it's like when your chakras and your whole energetic system is in alignment, then like your kundalini energy is able to be like unleashed, like you're fully in your flow and able to like manifest your intentions in the world, you know, because it's like your energy is not being sidetracked and derailed on the way there. Like everything is in full alignment, you know. So like this is just like even further confirmation of these messages, just like showing like how like lined up everything is. This is like amazing. So then we have the hunter, and this again, like this speaks to like when you are in alignment with the forces of the universe and God and the higher powers, it's like you are going to like be able to track your prey, or in a larger like scheme of things, it's like you will like hit your mark on like your destiny, which, you know, in this analogy is like sort of like tracking your prey and like hunting it down by like following your internal guidance. Like, so like ironically, like the map is internally like, you know, within, but like by following that guidance and by having cleared everything up and like cleared all the distortions and all this work that we've been doing in the eclipse, because the like readings leading up to this have all been about like doing this inner work, healing these distortions and getting like absolute clarity. And so you have that, and so now like there's gonna be this just like clear like force that's like pushing you towards your destiny. And like then we have the time master, which this speaks to, I mean, ascending, because it's just sort of like there's like patterns or cycles that might recur in one's life, you know. And it's just like things will circumstances might change around you, or the people or the places might change, but there's like this pattern that recurs. But at a certain point, the time master sort of transcends these cycles and patterns, because at some point they have this awareness about this pattern that they weren't able to see before, and then they're able to evolve into the next cycle of life. So time isn't actually linear. It's more about you'll go through life in one cycle until you get this awareness, and then once this awareness, you know, comes to you, like you'll evolve into your next life, you know. So this speaks to sort of graduating to this next level because of this awareness, which is really interesting because there's been all this messages coming through during the eclipse about this awareness coming to light, like some distortion that's being healed, and it's allowing someone to move past this cycle, you know. I mean, for me, just to give an example, like my discovery that I'm having through this whole eclipse season is that there's been this really destructive, like, you could call it a family curse, but just like a pattern and distortion that's been happening in my family. And like, I don't even think I was consciously aware of it for most of my life. And it's been impacting me, and it's been kind of like sabotaging my energy, and I didn't know about it, you know. And even when I, like, you know, when you're younger, you like escape these things by like going away and going out on your own. But like, if you haven't healed the energy, you keep attracting the same situation to yourself. So it's like different people would act out the same pattern that I had with my family because I wasn't aware of it, you know. But like, suddenly over this course of this eclipse, like, I've realized, oh my gosh, I think this was like maybe kept from me with good intentions, but like me not knowing about it like was perpetuating the cycle. And now suddenly, because of all this stuff that's happened, like, things come out when people pass away, you know, and like, I've been enlightened to this pattern, and I've been enlightened to this sort of injustice that's befallen me for my whole life. But since I didn't know about it, I never was able to confront it and address it and like heal my energy, you know. And suddenly it's like come into my awareness, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, none of this was ever my fault. Like, it didn't even have to do with me. Like, I was just here. And so it's like incredibly healing, because it's just sort of like, you don't have to like personalize or internalize or feel like it's your fault or you did something to deserve it, you know. Like, all of that suddenly just gets dispersed, and it's just like, oh my gosh, my energy is like completely cleared up, you know, which goes right into the sun, which means like, this is a card of like, it's not time to shy away, it's not time to hide in the corner, this is the time to show up for your life and just like be out there, you know, show up, be in the moment. Like, this is your moment. Like, everyone's got their 15 seconds, you know, like, this is kind of like, this is your 15 seconds, you know. It's time to show up and own whatever the situation is, you know, own it, you know. So yeah, so that's a pretty interesting message. I'm gonna go to the other decks that I had, but my mom, as you might have noticed, kind of came in and is getting restless, so I'm gonna come back and do this part later. Hey, okay, I'm back. So I had to leave for a second, and it's actually quite a bit later now. But so I'm starting with another deck, and I had at the bottom of the Radiant Wise Spirit, I had the Ace of Wands. And it's interesting because I noticed that there was a card that was still in the box that I had left behind, and it was this, the Prince of Cups, so, or the Knight of Cups. So this is interesting. This is like a message of love coming in, and this is like a passionate, fiery start. So, I mean, I think that goes along with, like, you know, we're having this passionate, fiery start. And it's interesting too, because yesterday's reading, or the last reading that I did, was like this tower moment and like flames and fire, and like, it was just a lot of, you know, dramatics, you know. And so this is starting to, like, I feel like this reading is starting to give some inkling of like what's to come on the other side of all the pyrotechnics. So, okay, so we got the Queen of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Page of Cups. So a lot of pages. So, you know, it's kind of like what I was talking about, like, we're getting an inkling of what's on the other side of the pyrotechnics, but just like an inkling, like, it's just, you know, they're all pages. So it's like messages, or, you know, you're starting to kind of be able to see through the doorway. But we've got this Queen of Pentacles, and she's right under this this rainbow. So this Queen of Pentacles is like, you know, she's in alignment, you know, with all of her chakras, and she's got this blessing here, you know. So it's sort of like, it looks like there's this blessing that's coming to this Queen of Pentacles, and she's like kind of, you know, she's got the universe behind her, you know, and bringing this blessing to fruition, you know. And then we have this this new spark, like this new perspective, and that falls right under this Kundalini awakening, you know. So it's just like something burned up in the fire in the last reading, and it's like opening the way for like a new beginning. And then we have this Page of Pentacles. So this is like something tangible, you know, and it's interesting because it falls right under the Hunter, which is speaking to like actually tracking your bounty, you know, something that you're trying to manifest. And we're starting to get some sort of inkling of that potential, you know. And then we have this whole right under the Time Master, where it's like we're graduating from some cycle that's been like recurring cycle or pattern in life. Like it's like being healed, you know. And it's like underneath that we have the Hierophant, you know. So this speaks to like institutions or like getting support or help, like, you know, or maybe having like the church community supporting you, or like gathering around you, like as you're like going through this sort of ascension. So like, for example, like one sorry, I'm getting like hot. It's like, I don't know if this is a hot flash, but sorry, but anyway, like for example, when you like graduate from college and like your whole community comes around and like we make a ceremony about this, because it's like you're stepping into this new stage of life, you know. And so I kind of get that, like there's a lot of people around that are supporting and like guiding. So it's kind of like maybe like graduating from one stage of life to another. Like it could be like getting married, you know, or, you know, finishing school, or stepping into a new era of your life. And then we have underneath this, like show up and be counted, we have this Page of Wands. So there's like this message of love, you know. So there's like a lot of messages of love coming in for this like Queen of Pentacles, who has like this blessing that she's been like nurturing, you know. So this is really interesting, you know, because like I said, a bunch of stuff blew up in yesterday's reading, and then now we're starting to see the beginnings of this new era. Okay, so when I go to the Urban Tarot, I got at the bottom, I got gain. So this came up in yesterday's reading, but there was a reading a few weeks ago or recently where I was talking about Martha Stewart being a thirst trap, and like that's what this card kind of reminded me of. So there's like, and it's interesting because I think this card came up in a reading recently with the Queen of Pentacles. Like this Queen of Pentacles was stepping up, like she was gaining something, you know. So that's interesting. And then underneath the Queen of Pentacles, we have truce, like we have the Four of Swords. So like taking a moment for oneself, like maybe after having stepped through this towering inferno, which is what happened in the last reading. We have abundance, we have the universe, we have the Ace of Swords, and we have the Ace of Wands. So this is really interesting because we've got this truth that's coming out, and it falls right under this, you know, graduating from this cycle with the support of some institution. But this truth is coming out, and it's like paving the way for this fiery, passionate start, you know. And we're actually, like I was saying, graduating from one stage of life to the next, you know. And it's like we're stepping into abundance, you know. So that could be like, you know, maybe this is like someone who's kind of struggled and like their life's been a struggle, like, and then suddenly they've like stepped into like abundance or acceptance with you know, like the crowd of like well-to-do people, you know, or you're kind of stepping up in like society, you know, or like I was saying in yesterday's reading, I think it was like talking about moving on up to this, you know, the Jeffersons theme song. Like, I'm getting that. Okay, so then on the next row we have, this is a really good reading actually. Success, the Six of Pentacles, Virtue, the Hermit, the Therapist, and then we have these two fell out together, and it's the Prince of Discs, the Day Trader, and Disappointment. So it's really interesting because, you know, it's just like, this Queen of Pentacles is kind of taking a moment for herself, but she's like kind of able to like savor this success, you know. The Six of Pentacles in a regular deck is kind of like giving and receiving, coming into balance. So she's like coming into this place of peace, and it's interesting because there's been like a lot of stories, you know, in the preceding months talking about like overcoming this oppressive situation and having to like knock that over, you know. But like this speaks to things coming back into balance, you know. Maybe for this Queen of Pentacles, like, you know, things have come into alignment. She's got this blessing, you know. And then, you know, there's like this Kundalini awakening, this new perspective. We're stepping into this abundance, you know, but like we've got Virtue, the Three of Wands underneath, which in the traditional deck is like manifesting something off in the distance. Like you've been working on this for a while, but I mean, this speaks to, in this deck, it's Virtue. Like, I mean, how I'm kind of taking this combination is like, you know, sometimes people make it big and it's just sort of like luck, or, you know, maybe they were born into it, or, you know, it's an accident, or, you know, but this really speaks to somebody having done the work and like manifested it and like, you know, deserves it, you know. Like it's not like they like screwed someone over to like step into this, you know. They did it by like screwing people over. Like actually this person deserves the abundance that's coming to them. And it's like everybody likes to see that, you know. Like people like to see people who've worked hard and deserve it succeed, you know, because it like restores people's faith in humanity, you know. And so it's like that's happening like right under this Kundalini awakening. So that's really good, you know. And then we have this person who's, you know, moving on up to the deluxe apartment, you know. They're stepping up, and like, you know, there's a tangible change that's happening to this Hermit, you know. So this kind of speaks to someone who's gone through this sort of spiritual awakening, like on this quest. And it could be this Queen of Pentacles, because this Hermit can often be like a Virgo, an earth sign energy. But like it's interesting because the readings leading up, the last couple readings, there was one a couple days ago about making peace with the past, and it was talking about, I mean, this whole eclipse season has been this like spiritual exploration of like healing wounds and energy from the past, and someone's done that work, you know, and this person is like graduating and they are reaping their bounty, you know, like it's coming to them. And then, you know, we have this truth that's coming out, you know, and it's interesting because it comes with this institution, you know. So it's almost like maybe like a whole community of people has had to get behind this truth, you know. Like it's like we've been speaking to like some oppressive situation that's been needing to like come out, and maybe in order to sort of like validate that truth, like someone needed like the support of like the police or the courts, or, you know, some sort of institution in order to like sort of validate this truth in order to like shift things so that we can like move on, you know, and graduate from whatever this situation was, you know. And then we also have underneath that the therapist. So like there's like this huge healing that's coming about from this truth, and it's requiring the support of like some institution or community of people in order to sort of like bring it to like general awareness. But with that, you know, we're releasing, like, it's paving the way for this passionate, fiery start. So we've got this Ace of Wands twice, you know, and we've got this message of love. So it's just like someone is like showing up to be counted, you know, like they've just been released from something, you know, and underneath, this kind of speaks to maybe what that was, because we've got this disappointing situation with this day trader, and like this day trader's come up in some other readings as a person who's sort of like not necessarily a horrible person, but they've just been like kind of lost their way in the sense that they were just totally motivated by money, and they sort of like lost sight of what's important. And so that maybe fueled this disappointing situation, which might be what we're like is coming to light, and we're moving past now. Okay, so this actually looks like a really good reading, because it's like almost like this Queen of Pentacles. She's like the wild woman, like she's able to like step into her power and be in flow and like manifest, you know, her intentions. And it's really good, but it's like having had to have gone through a difficult lesson, and it looks like we're sort of just like starting to break free from whatever that was. And so, I mean, it makes sense, because like I said, yesterday's reading was sort of like a towering inferno, and it was a big lesson. So I'm going to Starseed Oracle to pick a couple final messages. We got the Seas of Minnetonka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. So it's like this queen has really had to learn some lessons, you know, to bring this blessing forward. But it looks like she's kind of like reached that point, you know. So this is a really exciting moment. You can like unfurl your power into the world, you know. And then we have Portal. Doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. So it's just like, yeah, we're like stepping into a new era of life, and it's like we've done the work, you know, and she deserves this, and it's time to just step through the doorway. So this is really exciting. Really exciting. Okay, I'm just gonna go to Psychic Heart and pick one final card, because I'm feeling lots of feelings that are nice for this reading, and this has been like a lot of tough stuff to move through, but it's like really, you know, this is really positive. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got this release. So yeah, finally breaking free, and this is her moment. Gain. So this is a really good reading. It's like if you can get through the Towering Inferno from yesterday, like good stuff on the horizon. So keep the faith, and we're getting there. I forgot to mention, if you're interested in the holiday tarot reading special, I'm putting a link down below in the description box so you can get your own personalized reading, basically in the format of this one. And information about it down below. It's $35. You could do it for yourself or for someone for the holidays. Think about it.